Do you think they'll, Disney, Lucasfilm, drag Anakin into Episode 9 to tie up the saga? Guys, this is something that we talked about once or twice on and off the show. If we're looking at Episode 9 as the cherry on top, the conclusion of the Skywalker saga, and the end of these saga films, it has to tie it all together. There has to be influence of the prequels, the OT, obviously, and you have to end this story in a way that, I don't know, maybe suggest there is more to the story to be told, or maybe it wraps up like Return of the Jedi, where you just have the cast and crew there, in Ewok Village.
Well, Ewoks are, no, I guess they're not cannibalized.
I really hope we're not going back to Endor.
But
Anakin Skywalker, the involvement there of that character who has been so pivotal in the story so far, 1 through 6 is his story. You can argue pivotal in Force Awakens and Last Jedi because Kylo is obsessive about his grandfather, David. Does Anakin come back? Do you want him to come back? And how could it be done to work?
So I'm going to do a 360 here, or I guess a 180 here.
Okay.
360 would be completely around, because I have on this program said multiple times that I don't want that to happen.
Okay.
I'm going to change my mind.
Why?
Because right now you have Kylo Ren, who thinks he's hot shit. And he has nobody to humble him, nobody to bring him down a notch, because Snoke's allegedly gone and Luke's allegedly gone and everybody's just gone. But we know that he has this fascination with his grandpa. Mm-hmm. He that's why he wears that silly looking mask, because he wants to be like Darth Vader.
Silly looking mask. I would argue that he should have kept that mask on longer.
I would agree, but Snoke wasn't a big fan of that mask. So I could see Anakin somehow coming back to say, listen, kid, here's where I screwed up as being a Dark Lord of the Sith. Maybe you shouldn't continue down this path.
I think it's interesting with that theory, because the question is, well, why hasn't Anakin, through the Force, come to talk to Kylo to stop all this from happening? If Anakin has the ability to come back as a Force ghost, which I think is assumed that he learned, even though he was a Dark Lord for most of his Force-using life, or about the same, actually. It is about the same. Why didn't Anakin come back sooner to try and save Kylo? That's why I think that if we get Anakin Skywalker back, it is going to be through a Force vision or through a holocron or some kind of recorded message. Jesse, what are you thinking?
I'm on the boat of yes.
He's gonna be back.
But it's again, is it a hollow recording? I don't want the interaction of him as a Force ghost with Kylo, because the thing is that Anakin's story is that of redemption, and it's one of those things where he's not going to come back and this is how you'd be a better Sith Lord kind of thing, because that's not him anymore.
No, I think if he were to come back as a Force ghost, it would very much be like, Kylo, you're ripping your soul into pieces. You have to stop.
I don't think that he can come back as a holocron, because as a Sith Lord, he was black suited helmet Darth Vader, not scraggly hair.
Yeah.
But not Hayden Christensen. Mm-hmm. He was in the suit, and you could get anybody to go into the suit who's tall enough, and you could get James Earl Jones to do the voiceover again, if they were going to bring him back in a holocron as a Sith Lord.
I could roll with that, although you'd have the challenges now 2 years later. Rogue One, you could kind of hear the age of James Earl Jones.
The thing is at the same time, though, Hayden Christensen was at the last celebration, and he was actually very much welcomed, there. So I think it would be great to actually see him, brought back. Nothing like large scale, but I think a lot of people discredit him, in the prequels and everything. Yeah, so maybe the lines and the dialogue and Attack of the Clones, that's a whole nother topic. But
I still don't fully understand Lucas's argument to make his Force ghost his younger image. I still don't fully it doesn't make sense to me. But if you have that, I have always wanted to see what a conversation between Force Ghost, Luke's father, and Luke looks like. Now, obviously, we don't have a living Luke, but is there some way for those two ghosts to interact? We know because of Return of the Jedi, it seems like they can. You have Anakin, you have Obi-Wan and Yoda lined up there, and they're kind of like looking at each other. So, like these like Force ghosts can recognize each other in that plane that they exist on. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Maybe it includes a little Rebels storytelling with time and how it gets altered. Maybe. Who knows? What do you think about this conversation? That is some deep dive into the possibilities of Episode 9. What do you think about Anakin Skywalker? Could he return in Episode 9? Let us know down in the comments below.